Good everyone, welcome to today's video, and today we have a review on the ME-410 B6R3. Now this is going to be a two-parter. First off, we have obviously the Spade review, which is now, and then we have a unusual incident, or should I say encounter, in the ME-410, which I'm going to put as a scumbag alert, just as a heads up. So, obviously we've got the ME-410 now, so let's go over it. Obviously it's the last ME-410 that I have to Spade. So the B6R3 is the last of the ME-410s and is the most heavily armed, with two 30mm Mk103 cannons with 120 rounds apiece, and two 20mm MG151s with 350 rounds a gun. Pretty formidable armament. However, when the guns are stock, the 30mm tend to spark quite a bit, so just bear that in mind. Your rear defense, once again, has not changed. Two 30mm machine guns, which, I mean, they come in handy, but they're not the greatest. Let's just say that. Especially at the battle range that you're going to be firing at. So obviously, with it being at 5.3, you're going to be seeing some pretty strong allied aircraft. You're going to be seeing things like PVD-1 Mustangs and stuff like that, which you see in the other 410s for the most part. It's when you get full up-tiered, it's when this plane becomes really obsolete. And that's why I'm going to show you exactly how I spaded it. So obviously, I didn't fly it as a bomber interceptor as most would expect. No, I flew it as mostly a ground pounder, and it served rather well. Now obviously, I'm going to show you obviously the Spade review and obviously the scumbag alert later, but this plane was surprisingly good in the ground attack role, with the 20mm being able to clean up any light vehicle or anti-aircraft gun that I find, and the 30mm being more than enough to crack open tanks and pillboxes. That's how I spaded it, and it's actually how I carry this game that I'm going to show you today. Fair enough, by the skin of my teeth, but even so. So, this B6R3, it's a bit obsolete as I mentioned, however, it does have one handy little feature. Radar. Now, it only works up to 2.5 miles, because obviously I don't know how to set up the radar. I don't really care, to be honest. But that 2.5 mile radar really comes in handy in thick cloud. I do have to say that. Like, there was one point where I was in a thick cloud and I tracked a Sterling through the cloud with the radar. He was quite close. Managed to track him down and shoot him. And obviously get the kill because it's a Sterling compared to a 410. Now, when it comes to ground, like when you're on the deck hunting ground attackers, the radar does struggle because obviously it's meant to be up at high altitude. It gets confused by all the clutter in the ground, etc., etc. It's still a handy radar though, so I recommend people try and at least use it once. And if you're in a night battle, well, you're gonna have some fun. Let's just say that. If you are in a night battle, however, run stealth is all I will say, because obviously you can hunt without having to worry about people coming in behind you and everything. But this radar can come in handy in night battles, it can come in handy at high altitudes, and it can come in handy in most sorts of cloud. Just bear in mind that there are certain types of clouds that you will not be able to track aircraft through. But overall, this aircraft will serve me quite well. Obviously, I had it set up in the last game that I had to spade it as a ground pounder. Obviously, air targets under 20 mils to defend myself with, and 30mm HVAP to penetrate any sort of tank or anything like that. It was great in the ground attack role. I do have to say that, and that's what I plan to use it as. So obviously, as per usual, before we go into the battle, let's go and have a look at what I got up to in terms of the Spade. And well, if you're expecting glorious stats, well, as I said in the D12 review, most of those kills there were actually bots. I think 11 of them were bots. So 2-to-1 KDR on players, 3-to-1 KDR on if you include bots. Not bad. I mean, it could have been better, but to be honest, I'll consider that as not bad. And obviously 149 ground targets. This thing does really well in the ground attack role, and it's how I carried today's game. So let's have a look, shall we? Like I say though, obviously there you can see the guy's scumbag alert name, Panzer Div Tiger. I have no idea why he did what he did, but you'll see. And I do warn him. I was so tempted to shoot him down, but I decided not to because he gets a bit of karma as well. But we'll talk about him obviously later on. Sorry about that. My throat's been a bit. I've sat down this morning and done a load of recording, so my voice is a bit crap at the moment. So I do apologise. So ME-410 B613. Obviously, I had it set up for a ground attack mission, and here you can see how the radar works. So I'm just going to move the player list over to the left. So this green bar here basically means an aircraft, to put it simply. And obviously, since I had a teammate rather close, it was tracking the friendly. Now, obviously, you only have a limited degree of obviously coverage with the radar. And obviously, it works up to about 2.5 miles, which I'm not sure what that is in kilometers. I think it's 1.6 miles is a kilometer or something. I don't fucking know. 1.6 kilometers a mile or something. I have no idea. I don't do that shit. I work in miles. I don't work in kilometers. Obviously, when it comes to tank forces, you have to work in kilometers, which is the only time I'll work in kilometers. So, obviously the radar, it can come in handy, and obviously the 30mm are very useful for ground attack, but this battle's surprisingly short, and you're going to see why, because of how bad my team did. So I decided at this point to wet the engines and get into the clouds. Obviously, the radar can work in the clouds, it's just very dependent on... Well, it just depends on what sort of cloud you're in. I find that really thick cloud, the radar just doesn't work. The cloud just obstructs it. But when it comes to cloud like this, obviously you can spot with the dots anyway, but sometimes if you're a bit too close, that won't be an option. So in that case, you'll have to obviously use the aircraft's radar in order to help you out. Now, is this thing the best fighter in its BR? Hell no. I'd rather fly a Doe 335 over this thing. Because the Doe 335 just does everything better. And the rear gunners on this thing are nothing to write home about, so you're not going to be covering in terms of defensive all that well. So at this point, there's an F4U7 loaded up for ground attack down here, and I thought, well, he's down here, he's ground burning, I might as well have a crack at him. And obviously, one of the mainstays of the ME-410 series is its air brakes, which I've just deployed, and obviously I can now stay behind the Corsair whilst this Corsair is ground panning. So, I do fire the 30s as well. Obviously, the 20s and the 30s hit then, and that was the end of that Corsair. There's nothing left of that Corsair. First kill, and my only kill of this game, in terms of air kills anyway. And you can obviously see by the timer just how short this battle was. And we're already off to a good start. See, one of our teammates, I believe if I remember rightly, one of our teammates, yes, he crashed. It was Capucci. This LaFun guy didn't even spawn in because he wasn't top dog. As per usual, you always get plays like that. But obviously, I've just killed that Corsair. And, well, I'm basically clear to do whatever I like now, so I'm going to head over some ground targets. It's at this point, though, a Spitfire Griffin has just shot down one of our RA-2005s. Yeah, this team's going to do really shit, is all I will say. But, to be honest, I'm sort of glad I had the HVAP load, otherwise I wouldn't be able to win this game. Let's just say that. But obviously, if you do Spade this plane, please do use it as ground pounder. Don't go up and intercept bombers. You will get intercepted by fighters very easily, or the 325s will do it for you. I highly recommend it as a ground pounder. If you see anything that's low, such as AD4s, please don't take head-ons with them. Simply just outmaneuver them in terms of the vertical, which fair enough, they can do pretty well, but obviously you'll have the height advantage. And come on down with on top of them, use your air brakes, and get in behind them. That's the best way to do it. If anything does get on your tail, chances are you're already dead, but if you're not, do deploy your air brakes and try and throw the 410 around until a teammate comes to assist. That's really the best way to Spade his plane. But obviously, I didn't look for air kills in this thing. I mean, I just went for the Corsair because I knew he would be a threat if I went for his ground targets. Priority targets on this map are AAA guns, so I'm focusing on them first for my first and second ground kill. Now, the 410 does have armor, but it's not very good armor. It won't stop flat guns, and it won't stop any sort of bullet. You will get easily powder sniped in this thing, even from the front, where it does have bulletproof glass, but not in a position where you would expect it to be. There's another ground kill. Now, I was thinking about going for that pillbox, but I thought, nope. And obviously, I'm going in for attack runs for the 20mm now. But here comes the 30mm. They do take some getting used to on ground targets, and I do recommend getting the new 30mm mod as soon as possible. But this thing can really clean up some ground targets. But obviously, we've only got about 4 minutes left of this battle, and if you look at my team list, you can see why this was a short battle. I mean, we had a B-29 shoot down one of our 109Ks who refused to help the team and went straight in for the B-29, did absolutely nothing, and, well, he died for his efforts. Obviously, the 288's done his job. That 335 up there is completely useless to the team alive. He has done absolutely nothing. And if you look, yeah, he's not exactly useful, is he? Obviously, I'm coming in for my second run now on this convoy, so again, 20mm on light targets, which they really do clean them up. And, well, 30's on the tanks. That was a good strafing run there. Now, obviously, this is going to piss off some of the enemy, well, one of the enemy fighters. That being Zemur 84 in his F4U7. He's eventually going to make his way over here, but not for a couple of minutes. And I don't blame him, to be truthfully honest, because, well, it's a 410 and it will win the game if you leave it alone. It's like the old Horton days. Like when people used to spam the Horton with HVAP and it would just completely decimate tanks and stuff like that. It could pretty much, like, 2 Hortons could easily win the game. He used to be like the old Horton days. Obviously, just cleaning up those howitzers there for extra points. And this battle actually left me with half a fuselage repair left. I got it done 1 game later. So, yeah. HVAP only takes a couple of shells on the light pillbox to destroy them. This is one incredibly versatile aircraft. Now at this point, I was considering going for, well, to finish off this tank convoy and then go for the, what is it, go for the pillbox right there. Obviously, the 30mm are hit and miss against tanks. They sometimes kill on just a few shots. They sometimes could take quite a few shots. It just depends on Gaijin's RNG. But obviously, with the plane being as, well, it's not maneuverable, but you can easily get it around to do a ground attack run should you need to. And, well, it gets the job done. Like I said, the 30mm really do clean up. That's another tank, and that's another tank. That is that convoy completely wiped out. They no longer have any convoys on the right-hand side. There is 1 pillbox left. Obviously, because our tanks are going to encounter it, I decided to deal with it. And the enemy team is down to around about, I don't know if it'll show on here, they're down to only a handful of tickets. But look at my team. They're dead. My entire team is pretty much dead. There's only that 335 left who's done absolutely nothing. There's another light pillbox kill. But at this point, I know that I'm going to have some very serious attention heading my way. Because obviously there's a Tiger Cat, there's an F4U7, there's 2 PP1Hs. And, well, I'm going to have to win this game as soon as possible. The Doe is trying to engage a Spitfire LF Mark 9, but completely fucks it up, and now he's going to have a very pissed off LF Mark 9 and multiple fighters on his tail very shortly. However, I'm not alone, as I've already mentioned. Remember ME-410 that I mentioned? He spotted me, and he is coming in hot. You can tell by his airspeed. He is pissed at me killing his ground targets. It's at this moment that I actually spot him. I'm thinking, oh shit. Obviously I've spotted him, and I'm thinking, no, 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 no. We're so close to winning. So I gun the throttles as fast as I can, and I'm trying to get to the ground targets as fast as I can. Obviously I identified it as a Corsair before the marker showed up. And I'm thinking, no, 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 no. Come on, come on. And I just start, I'm getting desperate at this point. He's a mile away, and it's getting so close. I'm just thinking, I've got to win this. And right as I killed that pillbox there, folks, that was it. Game ended because of, I believe it was a mission objective complete. But if I had to gun the throttles there, ME-84 was 0.6 of a mile behind me, and even then, he could open up from that regard. But if you look around, obviously we had a Tiger. Well, he had a Tiger Cat. He had a P-51 coming in, and he had the Spitfire on the W325, who did absolutely nothing for the team, as you can tell. But yes, ground pounding in this 410 is highly advised. Obviously, it's very good in the ground attack role. It's very good to fly itself because it controls nicely. It won't be able to win in a dogfight against 99% of the vehicles that you will face. But if something comes, well, if a bomber comes in front of you, this thing will shred it. But anyway, I'll let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's video on the ME-410 B6R3, and I will see you all on the next one.